Good evening, everybody. We are going to continue our series on the laws of the universe, and tonight we are talking about one of the new laws. So, when you get an opportunity, please, please, please jump in here and let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that you can see me while I queue up IG, and let me know that everything is all good. Okay. So tonight we're going to continue our series on the 12 universal laws of success. Hey there, IG. Thanks for joining me this evening. And so before we get started, there's a couple of things. As soon as you get on here, if you're on Facebook or IG, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that you can see me. And let me know that everything is all good. The moment I get a comment, let me know you can hear me, you can see me, and then and especially on Facebook because it looks like they're having some issues with the streaming. So if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or anywhere else, let me know that you can hear me, you can see me. If you're on IG, thank you for joining me. I am so juicy, Miss 1080. Hey, P. Nice. Thanks, ladies, for joining me. Hey, step into healthy youth. Thank you for being here. We're going to continue our series about the universal laws tonight. Hey, Ray J, let me know that I got your name right. Be sure to share this out so that someone else can get this information. We're going to continue our conversation tonight talking about the law of divine oneness. Now, this particular law is one of the reasons why I literally just had this conversation with somebody. She says, hey, I'm going to Facebook. Cool. You can go to Facebook at legacywellnesstribe.com and it'll drop you into that group so you can see the slides and be a part of the conversation. All right, on Facebook, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Yes. Hey, K Duplessis, beautiful. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. You can see me on Facebook. Listen, tonight, you guys, we are going to be talking specifically about the law of divine oneness. And towards the end of this, I'm going to be sharing with you specific energetic tools, crystals, and those things like that, how they should be in your home and why they should be in your home, how we are all connected to the planet, and why you should have certain tools in your arsenal to keep your energy clear. I literally just got off the phone with my partner, and he and I were talking about this. And I said, you know what? You know how people say that they have something amazing going on, and then again they come back and they post and it's not as great as they thought it was going to be, or they have bad news about it. It's because sometimes we put our information and the things that we love and care about out there for the energy of everyone else. It's subject to the energy and the feelings of everyone else. The law of divine oneness speaks to this. And there's a reason why when you have something that is close to your heart, right? You want to keep these things to yourself until the universe has worked out all of those pieces so that you can protect the energy of it. It's not about keeping it to yourself so that you're not sharing, but it's always about how do I protect the energy of this thing I am trying to grow, of this thing that I care the most about, right? We're going to talk about that tonight. And then before we get off, I'm going to tell you guys one tool that you should always, always, always have in your home because of the law of divine oneness. Please, please, please share this out. As soon as you share it out, make sure you put shared in the comments, and we're going to jump into it really quickly. There are a couple of reminders, you guys, and I remind you of this every night. Number one is sharing this out so other people can get the information. Number two is if you want daily affirmations concerning these spiritual laws, in addition to wellness hacks, digital recipe cards, and all of these amazing things, exclusive swag, and all these great things that are coming out, please text me directly. Hashtag legacy to the phone number 404-738-6301. There's already a ton of people who have already texted, but if you haven't texted and you want the slides, you want the information, the number is 404-738-6301. And then the third reminder that I have for you guys is that cohort 33 is wide open. Today's calendar was booked and tomorrow's calendar is booked too. If you want to speak to someone about what our program entails here at Legacy and how we blend metaphysical sciences with health, with wellness, with integrative nutrition, along with anatomy and physiology. Today, I actually recorded or re-recorded the module on how medications cause nutrient deficiencies, how things like aspirin can lead to a vitamin C deficiency, how specific things that are very, very small can lead to these holes in our nutrition. And it keeps us from making red blood cells the right way. It keeps us from actually allowing our bodies to function in the best way. And so this is why we do what we do at Legacy. This is why we teach the way that we teach at Legacy. So if you're interested in being a part of that program, you want to go to discoverlegacy.info so that you can book a call to speak with an admissions representative, and they can get you all the information you need and tell you how you can take advantage of the grants that are available for cohort 33, right? If you have any questions about that, you can drop those in the comments as well. So I am here to help you tonight. Let's go ahead and get into the law of divine oneness. When we're talking about universal laws, first thing we want to know is that universal laws, there are several we're going to cover. We've already covered the law of vibration, and these are already recorded. So we've already covered the law of vibration. We covered the law of attraction. Tonight, we're covering the law of divine oneness. We will cover the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. We already covered the law of cause and effect. That's the grandfather of all universal laws. We will cover the law of polarity, the law of gender. We've covered the law of rhythm already, how there's ebbs and flows, and you should never count yourself out. The sun is going to come out. If you're in a valley season, if you're in a low tide season, the clouds have to part. The rain has to stop, and your peak season is coming. That is the law of rhythm. It is a divine universal law that things in your life, the tides are going to change, right? We're going to cover the law of inspired action because that has a lot to do with faith. Maybe we'll cover that one tomorrow. We covered the law of compensation. We're going to cover the law of relativity. And we covered last night the law of correspondence. So let's go ahead and jump in the comments. Thank you. Jump in the content. Thank you to everyone who has shared this out. Thank you for everyone who has tagged their entire tribe and tagged all of their people. I truly appreciate it. One last thing, if you're on IG, there are slides. There are slides over on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and some other places if you want to follow along with the information. Now, you can also get the slides by texting that number, #legacy, and letting me know, text #legacy, and then turn around and text me and say, I want the slides. And when all of this is over, you'll get a link to a shared folder with all of this information so you can study it and learn it for yourself. Because I know that even if you go back and watch this, raise your hand in the comments if you're like, I need to see the information in front of me. Like, I need to have the slides like in my hand. Some people learn better through books that way. Some people learn better when they turn pages. And if that's you, say that's me in the comments, right? And so I want to make sure that however you learn, whether you learn by hearing, whether you learn by watching the video, or whether you learn by using paper or reading paper or going back and being able to read over things, I want to make sure you have what you need to be able to do that. Okay. All right. Someone says, that's me. They say, yep, that's me. Yep. I'm like that too. I like to be able to like flip through things. Okay. Let's jump into this law. I love this law. I love this law. And I know the introverts on here are going to love this law too. Universal law, right? Universal laws are intuitive for us. They are intrinsic. They are unchanging. They do not shift no matter where we are, no matter who we are. They do not change, right? We intuitively know these laws and we intuitively live inside of these laws. When something feels off, it is giving us some information or cluing us in to make sure that we are living inside of these laws. Anytime that doesn't happen, some form of resistance raises up in us that allows us to stop and ask the questions that I gave you guys last night. What am I feeling most of the time when this thing comes up? How can I be supported, right? You're going to get a group of questions to ask yourself as well when we're talking about this law tonight. And so that's universal laws. The universal law of divine oneness is so beautiful. And when you learn about this law, when you understand that that all of us are connected, you guys, in such an interconnected, divine, beautiful way. It's as if God created this tapestry and every single one of us is a piece of the fabric that's woven within. I don't know any other great way to put it. And when we step back and look at this incredible tapestry, it is just this stunning mosaic piece where every single one of us, as a piece of this tapestry, have our place. Every single one of us is bringing something beautiful. And when we work together collectively, what we create is divine artistry, right? That's the law of divine oneness. It says we are all interconnected through our creation by the creator, by God, by source, by infinite intelligence, by the universe, right? That is why this is a divine law. We are never separate. Even if we try to separate ourselves, after a while, it does take a toll on us. Anyone who wants to be alone for the rest of their lives is usually considered abnormal. And this is why, because we intuitively want to feel connected to other people. Now I want you to pay attention to what's happening on the planet, because although we want to stay connected, they're giving us all kinds of means to divide us, right? They're giving us all types of things to divide us. And the universe wants us to be different, so that we talked about this yesterday. It wants us to be different so that it can express different ways. How do you make a tapestry that's all one color? We have to have all these incredible hues to our skin. We have to have, some of us, thick lips, thin lips, gaps in our teeth, right? We have to have all thick hair, thin hair, blonde hair, short hair, long hair. We have to be tall, thin, short, wide, skinny. We have to look all these different ways in order to create this divine, beautiful piece of art. You and everything about you is divinely gorgeous already, because you're a piece of this divine design. And when we understand this connectedness, we stop comparing, because I'm not supposed to be like anyone else. We stop. Otherwise, we're both the same thread. We're both the same thing. Now, we come from the same makeup, stardust, or whatever. We may have originated from the same universal space. But one of the things we have to remember is that in order for God to truly stretch out and express himself, herself, right? Itself, however you want to identify with it, in order for it to be able to do this, in order for infinite intelligence, divine source, to express itself, we must all be different. We must all be this different piece that blends into a gorgeous piece of art. That is why. And when we understand this, we understand that everyone has a story. In order for them to be a piece of this beautiful divine art, everyone has a story. Everyone has decisions and things that they've made. Everyone has experiences that they've gone through. Everyone has their own way of believing, seeing, acting, being themselves, and they're allowed to be, right? It keeps us, when we understand the law of divine oneness, it keeps us from judging people incorrectly. It keeps us from comparing ourselves to other people. It keeps us from looking at people through a certain set of eyes, but it allows us to freely say, oh, the divine in me. In fact, when it comes to this law, one of the things that people usually say when they're referring to this law is the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. That means I already see how beautiful you are, no matter what you're wearing, no matter who you are, no matter what your race is, no matter what your gender is, no matter what gender you choose. Whoever you are and how you choose to express yourself is already divine and it's already perfect. It doesn't need to be fixed. It doesn't need to be saved. It's not broken. You're an expression of the Most High already, right? We are all divinely connected. We are all created from the same elements of the universe. And that is this rich substance for God to be able to express itself through. We can hold space for other people when it comes to this divine law. We can hold space for other people towards an intended outcome. And this is powerful. When you are meditating with someone, it is so much more powerful. It's like the two of you making divine art together. When you are blending your life with someone, It is like you guys making divine art together, especially if you can be on one accord and in sync with one another, right? And the faith of others can hasten the manifestation for you. So one of the things that I like to do, how many of you on here have ever asked someone else to either hold space for you or pray for you? How many of you on here have ever said that? And I'm going to explain this to you, why we say that, and I'm going to explain to you the best way to do that. So if you're on here and you've ever had asked somebody, please pray for me, or please hold space for me, right? If you have ever said that, raise your hand in the comments or say that's me, right? Because I want all us to be able to see. I think we've all at some point said it, or we've all desired it. And when it comes to this, right? When it comes to this, the reason we do that is because this divine law is intuitive. The divine law of oneness is intuitive. If you didn't feel like anybody could do anything for you concerning their prayer, you would never ask. If we didn't feel like anyone holding space for us could do anything concerning our situation, we would never ask. There is a reason why we do this. And I know that we're taught in church, we're taught this a different way. We may have been exposed to this through our parents in a different way, but this is all intuitive. Universal laws are devoid of religion or religious connection. They may be blended into cultures, customs, and ways of people, right? Like ancient Egyptians lived by divine law, right? A lot of ancient cultures lived with metaphysics. In fact, when you were given a regular physician, you were given a metaphysician. You did not have one without the other, because they understood that the human was psychophysical, and everything that the human thinks becomes physical for them. So it is only in recent Western or modern Western civilization that we are just now getting back to understanding that metaphysics matters, right? So one of the reasons, right? There's two things. I'm glad she said this. And if you, whoever you are, put your name here so I can see it. But there's one of the reasons why something in you reaches out and asks for this is because the number one reason you do this is because when we feel like when the universe needs to disrupt the current with us, God did not create us to be stagnant. So if you are someone who's been sitting in a situation, the universe gives you a little tap at first, then it gives you a strict hammer hit upside the head. You will snap out of this because I need you to be creative. I need to be expressed in whatever way possible. You can't sit here and not express me. Anything that is not expressing, evolving, or moving, the universe looks at it as if it is something that is going through a death phase, something that is transitioning, something that is dying out, whether that is a person, a plant, an animal, or whatever, right? The universe begins to filter this out of the planet and transmute that energy into something else, which is another divine law. So when we get to a point where we absolutely have to reach out and say, can you pray for me? A couple of things are happening. Number one, we're not necessarily living outside of the law, but we don't understand that even in that valley season, we can create a peak. Anytime we feel like our back is against the wall, the universe innately puts it in us to ask for help. And in many cases, it wants us to ask for this kind of divine help. It wants us to trigger the faith and the actions of other people to come to our aid. Here's why. Because when another person's faith is involved with your situation, when another person's energy is involved in holding space for you, it's not something they're trying to manifest. So it makes it extremely easy for them to hold space and manifest this for you. Right? For them to hold space and manifest this for you. They don't have any resistance because it's not their situation. They don't have any resistance to holding to the vision. It's in us. It's in us to ask for help. That's what happens. But we only do this. Hear me good. The universe allows us to do this. And there's several different things that you can read concerning this topic. But the universe makes us do this when our back is against the wall and fight or flight doesn't come out of us. When we feel completely defeated, everything in us stands up and says, I need help, right? I need assistance. Can someone pray for me? Can someone? So anytime I see that, right, there's a lot that goes through my mind, but I don't know, especially when people say, well, I won't tell you guys what it is, but can you? The answer for me is going to be no, because I don't know what we're holding space for. And I understand that we're a divine collective, and someone somewhere is going to step up and do that for you. I understand how universal law works. So I know that every single prayer request I see, I don't have to hitch my energy to that train. I don't have to do that because I know that there are several other people who are going to do that. And I don't feel comfortable doing that, not knowing the situation. I don't know if you're praying to kill someone. Like, I don't know your situation. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to get involved. I can't come into agreement in something like that. I'm exactly, Pastor Sheila. I can't come into agreement with something like that. My soul doesn't feel like it's here to express itself in that way. So I have to have details. And I'm like that too when people ask for help, like in the comments. I have no idea what your environment is. I have no idea what all you've done at your home. So I can't with certainty give you advice without knowing. This is why I host retreats, because it allows me to see everything and give the right information to the right person at the right time and assist them as a metaphysician in that way, right? That's also one of the reasons why, as a health coach, I don't give out free advice online. We could do more harm than good when we don't know all of the details of a situation. Now, do you always need all the details? No, you don't. Sometimes you may be led, and there are plenty of people who are usually led to be a part of that and to hold space. You know, one of the things that I like to do for my students and for our team and for our students' families is I hold space for them every day. I hold space for them every day. We have a completely remote team of contractors, employees, operations, admissions, you name it, accounting. There is a complete team over here that keeps this thing going, and everybody's remote. I think there's a couple people that are here with me in Georgia, but most people are somewhere else. So I hold space for those people in their lives because I know when they come online to work, or when they are here to serve the students at Legacy, they must be in their best place. They must be in their best place. My energy is better suited there. I know that every student, every prospect that comes this way is looking to change their lives. I know that every student that comes through this program is getting ready to fly the flag that says, I understand what food does to me and my family. I understand how to create generational wealth through my health. I get it. And when they are a part of my mission, I hold space for them. It is only right. I hold space for them, all of them, And so one of the things that I think we have to be aware of here is that when we put all of our information out there for people to be a part of, and this is people sharing relationships, sharing information, specific, intimate things about their lives. Some people love being able to do that on social media. And if that's you, by all means, keep doing that. If that is what fulfills you or assists you in some way. But one of the things we want to it's just an awareness, right? It's not a warning or anything like that. It's an awareness of the fact that we are a divine collective. So the moment you put your business out there, be ready for people, for everybody and their filter, everybody and all of the energy they're filtering through, their opinions and how they're filtering through all of these things, to be able to project that energy towards you. right? This is why a lot of times you'll see people put their relationship out there, and then a week later they're it's done. It's done, right? Something came to light, right? It's uh I've seen it. Raise your hand if you've seen that on social media, or someone who thought they were getting ready to move and the deal for their house fell through after they posted it, or someone who thought they had found their divine love of their life, and then the next week they find out he or she is in another situationship or relationship, right? Right? And the only thing I can think of is this law. We're a divine collective. If you didn't want all of us on your stuff, you shouldn't have shared it. You shouldn't have shared it, because not everybody is projecting love out into the universe, right? Now, this law can also be used, and I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about that in two ways, with the crystalline grid of the earth, as well as through the Akashic records. And we're gonna glaze over those tonight. Those are very deep topics. We're gonna glaze over them so you understand how they fit into this law of divine oneness, right? And so we can hold space for people. People can hold space for us. And this is another reason why you see people keep a lot of things close to the vest. And even in spiritual teachings, you'll hear people say, until the universe has worked this piece of the art out, it's like keeping your painting covered until it's completely done. Until the universe has worked out all of these intricacies and all of this beauty that is becoming you, keep that close to the vest. Keep that close to the vest so that you manage well the energy that is projected onto this thing. You know you love it. You know you want to care for it. And this is another reason why people say move in silence, right? Not sharing every single thing that has to do with you. Keep it hush hush, keep it under wraps. It's not because you're being secretive, it's because you're protecting it from the energy of those things that are being projected on it. Once the universe has made all of this beauty the way it needs to go, then you take the cloth off and you reveal it. I'm so happy and grateful for this thing. It's a done deal. Now you can see it, because the only thing you can get from it now is the fact that you too can do it, that you too can express yourself in winning this way, that you too can actually do it, right? She says, I'm moving in silence now. So true, so true. And we have to think this way. But this is the divine law that teaches that. It's not because people are being secretive, they're being intuitive about it. Something's telling me to keep this close to the vest. That's the universe saying, cover this part of the tapestry up. I'm making something beautiful with you. And I need the loving energy of this to be protected until we can bring it to fruition. Cover this up for now. For now. Don't worry. I'll let you know when it's time to reveal it. I'll let you know when birthing season is over and you can do the baby photos, right? When it's in its infancy, right? Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, right? And so this is what we have to understand about this law. This is the thing we have to get. Now, this law also states quite a few things, right? One of the other thing about this law is, so number one, we know, and somebody put this in the comments. Number one, we are all connected. We are all one beautiful from the same beautiful source, and we're all supposed to look different, talk different, act different, live different, be different without judgment of anyone, because the divine, when God steps back, he sees this incredible tapestry with all of us in it. So we've all got to be different, right? So we're all connected, right? The second thing is people can hold space for us. People can pray for us, and it will hasten the manifestation. Because the only time we are blocked from manifesting is when we're trying to manifest our own stuff, usually. It's usually the things in our thoughts or one of those phases or stages I taught you that we're stuck at that keeps us from manifesting our own stuff. But when we're thinking about somebody else's stuff, we can hasten the manifestation of it, right? So when someone else holds space for us or someone else prays for us, their faith and their action towards holding space for us hastens the manifestation of it. Okay? That's the second thing. The third thing is we, as a divine collective, are the ones who are able to shift, change, and determine the course of the planet. Not the president, not the government, all of us, right? We are the ones, y'all. We get to determine the course of the planet. We get to determine the course of the planet. We get to determine the course of the planet. Put that in the comments. I am a piece of God and I get to determine the course of this planet too. I am not here for someone to dish out to me what my life is going to be. I get to help determine the course of the collective because I'm a piece of God. I get to help determine this too. I get to help determine this as well. I get to be a part of this beautiful tapestry too. I'm here too. I'm here too. Right? I am a part of this as well. I get to do this as well for other people, and I get to do it for my family. But I'm a piece of this. I'm a part of this. We're the ones that get to determine the course of the planet. So when we are talking about sensitive issues, when we are talking about racism, when we are talking about abortions or not being able to do those anymore, or whatever the issue that comes up, you guys, as a collective, if a decision is passed down to us, we as a collective, not through protesting, not through anger, not through any form of malice, intent towards other people in the painting, other entities or energies in the tapestry with us, but through divine thought process. The human being is the only person, the only entity, the only thing with higher thought processes on earth, higher thought faculties, reasoning, understanding, intuition, thought processes. So when it comes to these issues, fighting against these issues doesn't shift the planet. We have to start thinking above where we are. We have to stop acting like we only live in 3D. We have to be cognizant of the power that we have collectively with our minds. We have to be aware of this. And fighting, warring against something, that's not how God works. That's not how it changes. So when people are in an uproar, right? And now that you know the divine laws, once we put it out there, here comes that domino effect. Here it comes again and again and again and again and again. Let me know that you get this, because I know there's people that get this. Let me know that you understand this. When it comes to these sensitive issues that make us want to fight other people that are in the tapestry with us, that make us angry and want to do things to other people that are a piece of God too, that doesn't work. It never has. And God's not changing that for you or me. That's not changing for us. Universal intelligence gave us higher mental faculty so that we can come together collectively. This is why World Meditation Days matter. And let me tell you something. One of the things that we teach the crystalline grid of the earth and legacy. We touch on it, in addition to why we have World Meditation Days and what it does to the planet. If only 1% of the planet elevates itself in consciousness, in meditation, in divine oneness, in coming together. This is why you hear the saying, where the scripture, where 2 or 3 are gathered, right? This is why these exist, right? And so when we're looking at this, 1% of the planet, 1% coming together, has enough energy to raise everybody else up to a much higher dimension. 1%. But we are so busy warring. We're so busy doing caveman stuff. Like we have no higher thought faculty at all. We're so busy down in 3D. 1%. This is why you see there's always such a push to get 1 million people to meditate at the same time. That's why. And every single year they do it, the vibration of the planet goes up a little bit more. They raise it up. If 1% would do it all at one time, it would literally shift the mind, the energy, the vibration of every single being on the planet. We are that powerful as a collective. Can you imagine the entire planet on the vibration of love, understanding the vibration of Christ consciousness, understanding what things like the Buddha and Mother Teresa did? Can you imagine everyone on the planet thinking of everyone but them, thinking of something else but themselves? Not warring, knowing that it's not how we fix it, knowing that we go backwards when we do stuff like that, when we cut someone else down, right? That's how this works. That's why you always see people in meditation and the metaphysicians on here, the people who do spiritual work, the people who know you've been holding space for other people, the people who are involved in high vibrational tribes and people who do this work. They have a consistent, steady work ahead of them. And that work is to teach, to help other people understand that this is the vibration you deserve. This is the consciousness that belongs to you. Why would you play in a smaller space when you can have the vastness of the universe to play in? Why? Why? And so they get together to help raise the consciousness of people. They get together to affect change in love on this planet. And this is also why, because of the vibration of the majority on this planet, we're not there yet. We're still trying to get that 1%. Because, and that 1% meditates. They focus on pouring the love that is within them for all of humanity out to the planet. They focus on that. They focus on that. That's what the focus is. That's all it takes is 1% of people at the same time focused on unconditional love, unwavering faith, to raise everybody else up to understand and believe the same. They don't even have to be in the same vicinity of each other. We're that powerful on this planet. And there's a few other things that we align with. And one of those things is the crystalline grid of the earth. Okay. And we're going to talk about that. And another thing is the imprint that we place on the Akashic record of souls. Right. And so real quick, let me run to the comments. Someone says, let's do it. She says, the tribe, yes, 1% is all it takes. Somebody says, I totally get this, and learning patience for those who don't, like 2%. Right. Yes, 1%. That's all it takes. That is powerful. That's all we need. That's all we need. So if you see a World Meditation Day, stop, set an alarm, get into it. Because every single person that thinks about it is needed. Make sure you share this out so someone else can get this information too. The more we share, the more people can get this and have it come to them in a way that makes sense. I'm hoping, right? I definitely get it. I'm right here with you. Absolutely, right? Warring doesn't work. Painting over other colors in a painting doesn't work. Painting over parts of the picture only messes up the tapestry, right? That never works. It doesn't work that way, right? The divine collective, and we are it. We are it. She says the 1% focus on getting love, radiating out love to others on the planet. That's what the focus is. They focus on their work is deeply loving themselves first, so that everywhere they go, people can recognize that love, and that love is being reflected back to them, and they can radiate this back out to the world, right? We are one. whether we want to, and it's time to start reaching across the aisle to whoever you see. It doesn't matter what their race is, doesn't matter what gender they identify with, doesn't matter what their sexual preference is. None of these things matter. What does matter is our understanding of being a part of this divine collective and how we fit in the grand scheme of the universe. You, me, all of us have a piece of this tapestry that we must be a part of. We are humanity. That's us, you know? And so we're all part of the same whole, pieces of the same puzzle, right? Made from the same substance. And when we get together, it is powerful. When all of us come together, it's powerful. Okay. All right. Really quickly, let's finish up with the slides. And so when we're talking about this, our collective consciousness as a species is what creates the experiences that shape our physical world. We just talked about this. Collective meditations affect the crystalline grid of the earth. Now, the crystalline grid is like a recorder. So how many of you in the comments, tell me this in the comments, right? How many of you know and you understand that humans aren't the only living beings in the world? Type that in the comments. Like we're not alone, right? We're not alone. If you for any reason think that the only people that exist that live and breathe are the ones on this planet, something's wrong with you. Like there are so many other species out there, right, outside of Earth, that it's crazy, right? We are not alone, right? Yes, we are not alone. Thank God we're not alone. But we are. Let me tell you something about Earth that I think people need to understand. When you're on Earth, it has been said, right? And if you read and you study these things, it has been said that everyone on Earth came down here to help. That you chose to come here. That you chose what parents, what family, what lives, what experiences, and what expressions you were going to do. You chose it. It was like a call went out that said, Earth needs help. The vibration on Earth is lowering. They are no longer telepathic. They are no longer connected to their psychic abilities. They are no longer able to raise their vibration like they were way back when. Earth needs assistance. And every single one of us, if we are here, said, I will go. I am willing to go. I am willing to leave another universe to go to that one so that I can assist. Every single one of us raised our hand willingly and came here. Yeah, you've been here before. And some of us keep coming back because there's lessons we need to teach and there's lessons we need to learn. But all of us, every single one of us, agreed to be here. So scientists constantly say we are not utilizing our full, nowhere near what we could use, right? The saying, you have been here before, absolutely. So much experience, right? Indeed, indeed. Yes. And so when we're aware of this, one of the things that we also need to be aware of is that among different universes, even within our own, among it, Earth is one of the ones that still does not understand multidimensionality. That the human being does not see itself in a multidimensional, unlimited capacity. The human being is still blocked in mind. The human being still does not understand the capacity of their thoughts, how fertile their mind is, how they can create without time. They're the only ones time bound. They're the only ones that use their mouths to talk. The rest of us understand in all these other universes, the rest of these species understand that we don't have to think, we don't have to speak to talk. We can look and speak to one another. We speak telepathically. We understand how vibrational energy builds full cities. We understand how our collective consciousness comes together to build things, to create. And we understand that we exist to express this divine, the divine. Every other species understands it except those of us here on Earth. Earth thinks that we're here to conquer. We're here to eat other species. We're here to, I don't know, survive. Right? Every other entity out there. And we can paint the picture all we want, saying that, you know, they want to do this and that to us. You have nothing they want, my love. You have nothing they want. When you really get into studying this, one of the things that we understand is that when we around our planet, there's a reason we're the only one, like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. We're the only one that has life on the planet in our solar system. We're the only ones, because every other living being or entity says we understand that they can radiate out energy, and whatever they got going on is catchy. We don't want it. There, when you look at our universe and where Earth is situated and where everything else that they're locating, that's tens of thousands of millions of miles away, these species understand you don't have anything that we want, and we want you so far away that your energy doesn't touch ours, because we're so far ahead of that. But Earth needs help. Earth needs help. And y'all said y'all will go down there to raise it back up. And so over these past years, Earth has been getting the help that it needs to get it back to where it needs to be. Right? And so where we see these other entities and people coming through this planet, they're trying to activate this crystalline grid of the Earth. They're trying to pour more into people to get them to wake up and use their gifts, use their talents, use their intuition. Like it's a muscle, use it, because you've always used it. You came from other places, higher places using it. And it's like when you get here, you forget it. And that's part of the experience. But every single one of us is allowed to find our way back. She said that's who arrogant Earth is, to think it's all about him or her, no one else. It's laughable to other species. It's laughable. And so she says, I feel like I've been here before, that deja vu feeling. Absolutely. And then so Tiffany says, everything in nature has its job at a specific time, and a specific time that synergistically is magic. It's beautiful to watch. It absolutely is. She says, we live in different universes simultaneously. We cross through many until we find the one that is joy and bliss. Absolutely. And some we choose to stay in, right? Some we choose to stay in. And she says the Native Americans still to this day respect and respond to the earth. They absolutely do. This is how the earth was seeded from the beginning, but I'm not going to get into all of that. So when we're looking at this, the crystalline grid of the earth signifies crystals. If you don't know what crystals are, I know everybody knows what crystals are, but crystals form over hundreds of years. Yes, that piece of amethyst, that piece of citrine, that piece of agate that you have, every crystal, right, takes time. And I'm looking at this butterfly crystal on my desk that is 2 plates of agate, and it's sitting on this thing, but it's like a paperweight on my desk, but it's a butterfly, right? And so crystals take hundreds of years to form, right? They take hundreds of years to form, and they hold energy. There are large pieces of crystal that have not been excavated yet, that have not been pulled out of the earth yet, and they probably won't be for a very long time, because they are a part of this crystalline grid of the earth. The crystalline grid of the earth holds information and concerning our vibration. It is a carrier of vibrations, and it is infused with information about this planet. When other species look to come close to this planet, they can read this grid to determine where humanity is. They can, when there are wars, it's stored in this grid. It affects this energy. When there are world meditations, it's stored in this grid. It affects this energy. And the grid is shifting now. With all of the different portals that are opening up, the grid is shifting now. There are certain areas on the planet, places like the Mayan ruins, the the Stonehenge, places in Costa Rica, parts of Arizona, areas even in New York that have high amounts of vibrational energy. There's areas here in Georgia too that have high amounts of vibrational energy and have the parts of this crystalline grid of the earth that is concentrated in these areas. There's a reason why we're doing a holistic retreat in Costa Rica on 12/22/22, right at the last portal that opens up and right on the heels of winter solstice. There's a reason I'm doing it that way. There's a reason we're doing this in the midst of a sacred waterfall. There's a reason we're doing it that way. I'm not just crafting this experience for someone who wants to get away. I'm crafting this experience for someone who wants to elevate. That's what this is about. That's what it's about. I'm using this alignment, this time, to bring together people who are ready to align and take their lives to a much higher level. That's what I'm doing, right? That's why this specific place was chosen. This specific time of year was chosen. There's a reason why it is curated that way. Okay? And so we want to make sure that we are aware of how these things work. So that's the crystalline grid of the earth. Now, you can bring this energy inside of your home by having a crystal grid in your home, having orgone pyramids with crystals inside of them in your home, right? Making sure that you keep your crystals clean, charging them under the moonlight. We don't just have them because of their energy. You have them because you are extending this grid. You are extending your ability to affect this grid and affect change on the planet by having these in your home. Not just because they're pretty. Don't just wear a stone around your neck because you think it's cute. Know what it means. Know what you're divinely connecting yourself to. When you see a crystal on someone, when you see them wearing it, or if you wear it, understand that you are connecting with the larger energy of the crystals in the ground across the planet. And when you use them in meditation, when you use them with manifestation, when you use them even in prayer, when you're making petitions, you are imprinting and using the energy of this grid. That's the crystalline grid of the earth. And that thing lights up during these world meditations. We completely start to shift and change this planet as a whole. And that's something we've got to be aware of. So there's two things. The grid holds the energy and the memory of the planet. The Akashic record holds every single experience of every single entity and soul that has ever come to this earth. So however you've ever expressed yourself, anything you've ever gone through, anything you've ever created, anything ever created for this planet or that has been shared as an experience here is kept in the Akashic record of souls. And you can, even your past lives, you can access your own Akashic record. You can also access the Akashic record of other people. But you can't do that without the right kind of permission or the ability to be able to read the Akashic record and understand it, right? And so, or gain access to it, not necessarily read it, but gain access to it. There is a reading to it, but gain access to it. You can't gain, like for example, you have access to Jay-Z's Akashic record, everything he's ever done in past lives and all of these things, all of that is in the Akashic. All of it. All of it. We all have access to it. That's the law of divine oneness. Everybody can do what everyone else is doing. You have access to how they do it, right? You have access to these things. Nothing is kept from you if you're here on earth. Not one thing. Nothing is kept from us. We keep things from ourselves because we may not want to express ourselves in that way, but nothing is divinely ever kept from us. You have access to their records. However, you must have divine permission to use their records or to look at their records or to read it, to understand it, right? Most people have an issue accessing their own record and understanding, where have I been? What else have I expressed? How else have I been living? Help me understand all of me. I have remnants and pieces in this lifetime that I'm trying to, I have no idea where they come from, right? And I know they're not who I am right now. So we want to make sure that we understand how to tap into the crystalline grid of the planet. And we want to make sure that we understand that we are one with everyone else that lives on this universe. Let's see what we have on this last slide, you guys. And so when we're looking at this, we want to ask ourselves a few things before we hop off, right? Somebody says Egypt. Yes, Egypt is too. Yep. Native American culture, indeed. And I'm still learning. Yes. Native Americans are incredible. And so when we're looking at this, there's a few things we want to ask ourselves. The first thing is, where can I use support right now? Okay. If we feel like we're not living our highest and truest expression, and we understand, like, in the grand scheme of all this, where we fit in when it comes to the universe, where do I need the most support right now? When I know that nothing is being kept from me, when I know that I can express myself in any kind of way, I no longer need to compare myself because I'm contributing something completely different to the tapestry of God than someone else is. So I no longer need to be concerned about how they're winning or what they're doing. I'm concerned about me. My concern is me and my divine expression in this tapestry. How I'm going to express myself, how I'm going to go to the edge of me and do my absolute best, right? Where can I get the most support right now? How can I hold space for someone else? What types of people do I desire to hold space for and have hold space for me? Who do I want praying for me? What are the characteristics of the person that I want praying for me, right? How can I create my own crystal grid? How can I bring the power of all of this energy with the crystals that are buried in the planet? How do I bring that into my home? What colors are necessary for me? If I want wisdom, then that's purple, right? If I want divine manifestation, that's yellow and orange, right? If I want divine ancestral wisdom, that is also yellow, right? If I want divine wisdom that comes in the form of downloads, that's a navy blue or dark blue candle, right? Or crystal or whatever. Bring these things, these pieces in to your home. Bring these things into the space where you spend the most time. This is how this works, right? Don't just arbitrarily choose something, right? Colors do choose you based on what it knows you need the most. That's why a lot of ladies pick pink. It's always a matter of the heart, an opening of the heart and loving more of themselves. They tend to be multipliers of people, places, and things concerning everyone else, but not themselves. And so we must absolutely be aware of this as well. And then, what tools should I add to my home to harness the energy of the planet, right? What tools can I add to my home to harness the energy of the planet? How can I help the planet shift more towards love? Because that's what we're moving towards, right? The opposite of fear is unconditional love. The opposite of fear is unconditional love. That is what we're moving towards. Okay. Run to the comments real quick, and then I am going to close this down and hop off. In the meantime, while I'm finishing the comments, if you haven't already yet, share this out. But go ahead and send love and light to someone in this live stream with you. Go ahead and send love and light, and as soon as you see your name, send it to someone else as well. She says pink. Yes, pink is the color that a lot of women choose. Feminine energy is a multiplier naturally. And so women come to be filled up. Feminine energy comes to be filled up and to then birth out what it is seeking to put out into the planet, or what it has been given to put out into the planet, right? That's why when you see a woman aligned with her work, you'll know when she's in this birthing process, right? You can track it, right? Down to the contractions and the minutes and all these things. You can track when she's birthing something great. We all can, and we can feel it, right? And so we want to make sure that as we are understanding this, especially if you identify as female, meaning that you can bear a child and you have reproductive organs as a female. You are traditionally, you are innately a multiplier. This is also why it is absolutely incredible when you have the energy of another female who can multiply what you're trying to manifest, whether you're a man and you're with that woman, or you're a woman and you have friends who are female who can hold space and pray for you. It's so important. It's so important to be able to have that kind of energy around, because women naturally are going to multiply what you give them. So when you are sharing your vision, as long as they are holding that vision in with unconditional love for you, they can help multiply this manifestation and hasten the manifestation of this thing coming to pass for you. So guys, keep your women happy. And girls, keep your girlfriends happy, right? Keep everybody on the same plane. She says, I had my first Akashic reading done in Peru. It was so powerful. That's amazing, Dr. Tiffany. Love and light to you all. Someone says pink is my favorite color. Sending love and light to everyone. Love and light to all of you guys. Love and light to each and every one of you. Okay. And so I'm gonna hop off. Listen, it's always a pleasure to share time and space with every single one of you. It is always a pleasure to share time and space. Anytime I get to share this gift with you guys, it is never taken lightly. Anytime someone else catches this live stream, it is always on time for them. This information is timeless. The crystalline grid of the world will always be here. It will be here 100 years from now. It will still be here. So this information is timeless. Anyone that you bring to any of these live streams can get this information. Okay. Have an incredible night. Thank you again for sharing time and space with me. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have an incredible night. Love and light, everyone.